What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Deal Desk, where I call your leads live. If this is your first time watching on YouTube, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to submit any leads you'd like me to call live, go to the reitoolbox.com and click on the button that says Submit Deals for Deal Desk. You watch them, call me live here. I call them twice. If they don't pick up the second time, I move on to the next one, okay? Anyways, last week was good. Let's get right to it. Let's see what market we're going to be in today. Let me pull it up here. Give me 1 second, and we'll get started. Let's see. We are in Miami. Okay, so let's get started right now in Miami. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the comment section, and I will pull them up. Throughout in between calls, I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Okay. All right. So let's call this person. Actually, this is a duplicate. Let me see. I call this person here. All right. So this person's asking $389,000. It's in excellent condition. Didn't I call this one? This is the guy that had the room says to do whatever you want room. Yeah, I called this one. We're still Miami, though. All right, so let's just call this person right here. I'm calling on my Google Voice. Right. Let's see. All right, let's see if they pick up the phone. Oh, hold on. I've been muted the whole time. Hold on. I've been muted the whole time, and nobody said anything. Can you guys hear me now? I'm sorry about that. Welcome to let me start over. All right. Welcome to Deal Desk. Happy Friday. Welcome to Deal Desk. Okay. Where I make live calls every Friday. If you have any leads you'd like me to submit, okay, or you'd like me to call, go to the reitoolbox.com, click the button that says Submit Leads to the Deal Desk. Sorry about the technical difficulty. I was muted, but now I'm not. So anyways, let's get started here. I don't know if was I muted or not. It showed red on my thing. Anyways, all right. So let's get right to it. We are in the Miami market. Okay. Today I plan on dropping a comps video as well, because obviously these are leads that belong to the public. I call their people's leads, so I will not be showing any confidential information. Okay, that put their leads at risk. However, I will be showing how I'm able to make an offer in 7 minutes or less, step by step. I plan on dropping that video today. Okay, so just make sure you hit subscribe. If you're watching, you're not subscribed already, make sure you click subscribe. If you have any questions, make sure you drop it in the chat, and I'll answer them throughout the process. Okay. All right, so let's get right to it. Anyways, let's get over here. So this person's asking $389,000. I'm sorry, this person, yeah, $390,000. 4 repairs are needed. Both units need renovation, fair condition, multifamily. Last renovated 5 years ago. Anytime I look at the condition of the house, like before I call, I like to read the details, obviously. But the way I'm able to, analyze what my offer is and run comps is asking questions. If you know me in my process, I always have the property condition in 3 buckets: needs full renovation, fair condition, or fully renovated. Okay, so that's basically what I do with that. Let me see if I can pull this up here. All right, because I do want to show you what I'm looking at. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, let me share my screen. Tab. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is the property I'm going to call. What is this? This is a duplex? That's interesting. Yeah, interesting. Anyways, let's call them and see what happens. Sometimes people may not even pick up the phone, so I don't want to spend too much time on this if they're not going to, answer the phone. All right, let's call Enough talk. Let's call this lead. Funky looking duplex. And if I ever see any kind of like if looks like it needs work, I always bring it up because that's only going to benefit you when it comes to negotiating as well. All right, put on speaker, and let's see if they pick up. Did they just hang up on me? Let's call them right back. I always like calling twice. If I call from a number they may not recognize, the second call, they may be like, oh, okay, this might be important. So let's see what happens. Yeah, they got the Christmas lights up. I always like looking at the area. What is this? A school? A church? A church right next door. A church surrounded with barbed wire. Never seen that. All right. Well, let's see if we can get this person on the line.
Hi, you have reached Better Solutions.
No. Looks like they're not picking up. But in the notes I see here that it just, it looks like it needs some work. Now, keep in mind, whenever you're comping multifamily, like up to four units, like if I'm looking at a duplex, depending what market you're in, sometimes when you're running comps, like when I'm running comps on multifamily, it's not something I strive to make an offer in 7 minutes or less because there's a lot more information that I have to look at: income, expenses, taxes, insurance, like all that stuff. Rent rolls, are they on a month-to-month or annual lease? Do you have a good relationship with the tenants? That's another thing, because some sellers, they may not have a good relationship with the tenants. And if that's the case, they really don't care what happens with the tenants. But if they have a good relationship with the tenants, sometimes they may not even want them knowing that they're selling. So how do you get around that? Because that really messes with the inspection period. Let's say buyers want to take a look at the property. We always say we have buyers out there just to take photos. We never have to go in depth. You don't want to spook the tenants, but always, always, always let the seller know, hey, if you don't want the sellers to know you're selling, that's completely okay. We're never just going to show up, Mr. Seller. We always like to let you know a day or two in advance what schedule works best for you and for them. Okay, and that's it. We have the right to talk to them if you want us to, but if you want to handle it, by all means, that's completely okay. I've had sellers meet me at the property every single time. It just depends. But when you're comping multifamily, sometimes it'll be in a cookie cutter area. This is why I was looking around here. I'm just looking at the street. I'm not showing any comps or anything. But sometimes when you're looking at comps, you'll see other similar duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, the same kind of thing. And if you have a duplex, right, if your subject property is a duplex, and let's say you can't find any other duplexes, all right, and let's say you see a triplex across the street, you want to look at the price per door. Okay, so if that investor, for example, they bought that property cash for $150, that means it sells about $50,000 a door. So if I were to buy a triplex in that exact same condition, square footage, your build, all that, my max offer, the way I do it, is $140. There's a lot of ways to go about it, but this is the way it works for me. My max offer for that triplex would be $140. But if I take the price per door, divide that by a duplex, that means more or less that investor may pay $100,000 for mine if it's $50,000 a door. So therefore, my max offer would be around $40,000. And this really varies by market, by property, but it's just a good rule of thumb. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We're still Miami. Let me pull this up here. Let me take this off the stream, and we'll move on to the next one, okay? Give me 1 second. So the next one, let me check this off. I'll mark it that I called so I don't call them again. If you see that I'm calling your lead, this one's on 50th Terrace. If I'm calling your lead, Mr. Lazaro, and they don't pick up the phone, you would have to resubmit that lead so it goes back to the top of the list. All right. Anyways, this next lead here wanted me to tell him a price. No renovation, 4 years, fair condition, rental property, tenant occupied. Has no new renovation last 4 years. What's the reason for selling? He wants to hear an offer. Okay. A lot of people just want to sell because they want to hear an offer. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because sometimes those people won't, they really won't really interested in be selling. You know, they really don't want to sell. They just want to see what your offer is, whether they just may want to see what's going on in the market, what you may pay, but that could change. All right, so let's call this person. Let me pull this up. All right, so this one's on 13th Avenue. Mr. Justin. This is an interesting property. Check this out. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second.
Your call has been forwarded.
It's a big property. Let's call him back one more time. Don't pick up. We're moving on to the next one. And I'll tell you in a second what you do with people that say, oh, what's your, hello? Señora Lehman, ¿se encuentra Justin?
No, estoy equivocado.
¿Tú no tienes la propiedad en 7125 Northwest?
No.
Okay, gracias. It says Justin. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me make sure I call the right number. Yeah, this is the right number. She said that I have the wrong person, but this is the phone number you put here. Well, looks like it's the wrong person, so I'm gonna mark this one as called. Whoever submitted that lead, Justin on 13th Avenue, just double check that it's the right person. All right, moving on to the next one. Let's see. We have one. Oh, before I move on to the next one, I was going to tell you about what do you do with people that say, hey, I want you to tell me a price. You called me. I want you to tell me a price. People like that, don't give them a price. What I do with those people is I give offer ranges. You see, when you give a person a specific number, most of the time they're not really, you know, you're going to be stuck at that number. If you go any higher, they're going to know you're negotiable. If you go any lower, they might get upset. And that's, you know, that's common. You got to expect that. Not everybody's going to be a good fit for cash offer, right? But this is why maybe I'll make a separate video on this as well. Offer ranges is what allows me to have the homeowner show their cards without you know, saying a specific number, because I don't like giving offers. I like giving offer ranges. When I give an offer range, that's when people they either like it or don't, but I don't like giving a number, right? Some people make the mistake of giving a number, and guess what? Now you're stuck at that number no matter what. Okay, so anyways, when somebody says you give me a price, what I like to do is anchor price, find the lowest selling property in the area. And then let's say my max offer is 140 because buyers are buying similar properties for 150. My range, if I see a property sold for 50,000, my max offer is 150. Okay, or around that, right? My offer range is so wide; it could be between 50 to 130, and you always want that top number a little bit lower, okay, than your actual offer, because a homeowner, at least that I've met, will never say 50,000. That sounds great. Why would they take the 50 instead of the 130 that you offered? They're always going to pick the top number. But if you can control the options and let them pick whatever they want, you're creating a win-win situation, because homeowners always know the least they're willing to take. They just may not know what the house is worth. Maybe I'll do another video on that separately, because there's a lot. I know I kind of just, you know, talked about a little bit, scratch the surface, but there's such an in-depth process that goes into that will directly reflect how big the deal is going to be. Okay, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. I like giving the people what they want. Let's move on to the next lead. We're still Miami. Then we're going to Lauderdale Lakes, then Tacoma, then Houston, then Kansas City, then back to Houston, then Florida. Okay, so let's call this next one here. They're asking $170,000. Okay, this is Miss Allen in Miami. 170,000. Roof is good. 3 or 5 years. Floor collapsed. Complete rehab needed. Said to call back in August. Something about waiting for lawyer for insurance. Reason for selling, says that it's her old parents' house. All right. So it looks like this could be a pretty good motivated lead. All right. Seems like the property looks decent. It looks pretty good. But that's just the outside. You know, the floor collapse, it's not going to show it on the outside, right? So let's give him a call and see what goes on. This seems like a really motivated lead, but I got to get him on the phone first, obviously. Right. And it says here that the father, or I think the mother, has dementia. And I'll talk a little bit more about how to handle that, because you do have to be careful, and you have to do things the right way when you're dealing with people that aren't all there. Because not only if you do the wrong thing, you can get in trouble, but you still can create a deal out of it. But you really have to go after the solution, obviously. Like, why does a person want to sell? Do they really want to sell? All right, so let's call this person, see if they pick up the phone. Sometimes people with conditions, you can't tell right over the phone. And then you might get a call back from a family member, really upset. So you have to be very careful with those kinds of leads.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Allen. My name is Steven. I think you spoke with my assistant a while back in regards to your property on 113th Terrace. Were you still looking to sell?
No, we're not doing anything right. We're not doing anything right now. We're waiting we have a lawsuit going on.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I was just calling to see if we can give you an offer. I know that you have to deal with the lawsuit first, but I at least want you to know what offer we would have. So when you're ready to sell, you already know what number we're at, you know?
What's the number you have?
Did I catch it a good time, though? I didn't want to bother you.
No, just tell me the number you have.
Okay, yeah. So in order for me to give you the best number,
What is your name again?
My name is Steven. My name is Steven.
Okay.
Yep, you spoke with my partner, Ray. A while.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I actually want to call you back. I do see here in the notes there is a lawsuit going on, and there's no rush. But I actually want to call you back to see what we can offer you. And my process is actually very simple. I just want to ask you a few more questions other than what I see in the notes. That way I can evaluate the area on the computer, see what I can offer you. It takes about 7 minutes. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I see here in the notes the roof is good, 3 to 5 years. It says here the floor collapsed. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
That's the floor collapse.
So now I'm running
we're
comps.
filing for. We have doing the claim on.
So I'm assuming the property is vacant, right?
No, we're there.
You live there?
We don't want anybody going there to interfere. We have a sick right now. My mother is very sick, so we don't want anybody going there.
Got it. So you live in it, or it's vacant? Maybe I misheard you.
We live in it.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So, and as far as can you tell me a little bit more specifically about the interior condition, any other work it might need?
Air condition, we don't have central air.
No, I'm sorry, the interior condition of the property.
Hold on a minute. Yeah, I have a call important call coming in. Hold on a minute, please.
Sure, take your time. So, she threw me with, I don't want to sell right now, the lawsuit. You see I overcame that. Even though they're going through something doesn't mean you can't get under a contract. Maybe not today, maybe this week, but regardless of what somebody is going through, a lot of people, they put their guard up and say, I don't want to sell right now. That's okay. Hold on.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was asking about the interior condition. Interior, if you could tell me a little bit more about the interior condition.
What was it?
Yeah, like
in one bedroom and the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And the passageway. And we have 3 bedrooms. a den, and a foyer at the front, and those are okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And kitchen, bathroom, two bathrooms.
And the bathrooms and kitchen, have they been updated recently, or are they just in fair shape?
Just fair shape. Fair shape.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And I know that it says here in the notes that there's like an issue with the insurance.
The insurance didn't want to pay, so we have to put a lawyer on the case.
What are they not paying for?
The collapse.
The what now?
The collapse of the floor.
Oh, they don't want to pay for the floor. Pay for the floor.
No, they don't want to pay. That's why we have a lawyer there.
Yeah. Okay, great. And I'm assuming you're looking to sell the property after that's resolved?
Well, listen, this is not my property, it's my parents.
Oh, it's your parents.
I'm just signing all the information for them.
Got it. And do you have power of attorney?
No money for it.
Do you have power of attorney for your parents?
Yes, I do. But what I'm saying is it still depends on them.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's no rush. We want to make sure that everything's taken care of in a timely manner. Now, considering the condition the property's in, did you have any ideas to what you think it might be worth or what you're looking to at least sell for?
I'm listening to you because you know this. You're selling all every day. What do you have to offer me?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm here for, because I'm looking in the area here. And I think last time you spoke with Ray, you were looking to get no less than 170,000. Is that about right?
No, we're looking for more than that.
You're looking for more?
Three bedroom, kitchen, two bathrooms, a den, a foyer at the front, living room. No.
Yeah, and we would buy it in as is condition, whether the insurance pays or not. But correct me if I'm wrong. So that wasn't you that was asking for the 170?
I think that's what they offer.
Yeah, because if we're
tell me what you have to offer. What do you offer now?
Yeah, if we were to buy it cash, I mean, I'm looking at similar properties here in the area in as is condition.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at renovated properties, but are you familiar with 100, let me see, 22nd Street?
Yeah.
There's a property there on 850 Northwest.
I don't have time to go and look at properties. I don't have time. I have a sick right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying to go look at it. I'm just letting you know what they're selling for in as is condition, no problem. But that one sold for 149,000 as is condition.
Oh no, that is too small.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what we would pay you. I'm not saying that's what we would pay you. I'm just giving you facts of the neighborhood. But taking that to consideration, I mean, if we can cover the closing costs.
How many bedrooms do that have all the time? How many bedrooms do it have?
That property is, let me see if I can pull it up. I believe it's a 2-1. Yeah, a 2-1.
Oh, no,
it's the same square footage.
And I have 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, living room. No.
Oh, yours on the tax record says a 2-1 for some reason. I'm not sure why. So it's a 3.
When they bought the house, we haven't added anything to the house. We bought the house as we got it there. What we have now is what we bought it with.
Gotcha. So it's really a 3-2.
No leaves against our house either. No leaves against it.
Got it. So it's actually a 3-2. So, in the condition it's in, obviously needs some work. What do you think would be the best price you can do, considering the repairs needs?
I am not going to tell you what it is. I want you to tell me you're selling houses every day. I don't sell houses.
Yeah, I know.
Tell me what you're offering.
Yeah, because Ray put here asking for 170. We would probably be somewhere around that range, considering the condition it's in. You know what I mean?
Other people offered me 200 and something.
You want 200 and something, you said?
No, I said other companies offered me 200 odd.
Oh, really? How come you didn't take that offer?
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good offer.
Well, we didn't start taking the offer. The people don't want to leave their houses. They're older people. They don't want to leave their home unless they have to. You know that old people are set in their ways. They don't want to leave their home. They don't want to keep their home.
No, I mean, when
push comes to shove,
yeah,
and they have to leave, and they have to leave.
Absolutely.
And I don't matter of taking an offer. I can't take offers if they don't want it. Absolutely.
No, I agree with that. But when you are ready, so I mean, is that what you were looking for, around 200,000?
Around that ballpark, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little high considering the condition it's in. Have you ever considered listing the property on the open market?
No, because this just happened a couple of months ago. It didn't happen
Hmm.
weeks and years ago, you know. And then we have a parent sick. We don't have time for listing anything. I just found some flyers in the mail and I called you off that. You know?
Yeah,
Just to
yeah,
hear what you have to say.
yeah, and
We don't have time to do the same thing. Right now, we're
right.
going to my parents. My parents is on record now, life support. I don't have time to do the house now.
Of course, yeah, of course, and we want to make it
Because
as easy as
everybody do all
possible
those
for
things.
you.
We have to have a lawyer do because we don't have time for that. We don't
Yeah.
have issues like that now.
Is the lawyer also dealing, like, if you were to sell the house, is that something that they would also you wanted them to work with, or is
What do you
that
mean
something you're
work with?
dealing with?
What do you mean?
The lawyer you have, are they a real estate, like a lawyer, or they're just dealing with insurance?
Is there what?
Is your lawyer just dealing with the insurance side of it?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, so you're the only one dealing with the sale of the house.
The parents decided what they want to do with their house.
Got it.
They
Okay,
just get
so
money to fix their house and they want to fix it, they're going to keep it. They
right.
don't get enough money and get, they will want to
I'm
sell
gonna let
it.
her
You know what I mean?
talk because
But they're older people,
I'm
so
just trying to
they
get her
don't
on a
have
price,
children anymore.
and
They always fix
she's
it up.
obviously she doesn't want to feel rushed,
You
which
know?
we don't want to
So
do
we
that.
have to make a trial
But I'm gonna let her
decision. It
talk.
depends on
I'm
them.
trying to see what price we can
And you
do
know
for her.
that people want to stay in their home.
200,000 is
Because
really
it's
really
just
tight. She wants 200,000.
For me personally, when I tell them to me, because I mean,
Hmm.
it's 50,
I want to see what kind of time frame she'd be ready to
they're gonna
sell,
fix
because
it.
even if we agree on a price.
You see?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we can agree on a price, when were you looking to sell exactly?
I am not looking to say anything. I said my parents decided if they want to sell.
Oh, so
I cannot say anything at all.
got it, got it. When do you think you might be able to speak with them? Maybe we'll give you a call back.
I see them all the time. Let me see. Listen, another 6 months.
6 months?
Another 6 months. Yes.
Okay.
I told my mother's on life support.
Right, right. No,
My mother's on
absolutely.
life support.
Absolutely. And you want to
Another
take your
6
time with
months.
that.
And
Okay.
yeah, so we have to do
All right.
some rehab and everything and so on, you know what I mean? So we don't have time to think about the house right now.
No problem. I
Trying to
understand.
do the right rehab.
I understand. So I'll let my partner know. We'll talk later on, okay? Make sure you take care of everything you need.
All right, tell me hi. Yeah, that's it. The call and check with me. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
So she has power of attorney, and it doesn't say anything about her. I think her mother was in life support. Her parents are in pretty bad health. It says here that they want to sell, but the thing is, even though she has the power to sell the house, she's not the main person to, she doesn't dictate when or how much it's going to be sold for. That's going to be up to the parents. Now, obviously, I always want to speak with the main decision maker. In this scenario, they're on life support, they're going through stuff. So this is not a lead that you want to, even if you get a commitment, which you really can't because you're not dealing with the direct person you have to speak with. She has power of attorney. Now, notice she said call in 6 months, but it says in the notes here something completely different. She's kind of all over the place, because first she was asking 170,000, right? And then she said she had other offers at 200,000. Anytime somebody responds to your, number, oh, well, this guy offered me this much. Oh, that sounds like a great price. Why didn't you take that? If they haven't taken that, that means they're not really committing to anything. Because anytime somebody has higher offers than yours and they haven't taken it, they're not ready to commit. And the reason she's not ready to commit is obviously because of the scenario she's going through, okay? So she says call back in 6 months. Here it says call back in August. So a quick, word of advice, if anybody ever tells you to call back and the time frame is beyond a week, you want to cut that time in half, right? So let's say they say call me in 2 weeks, you call in 1 week. Call me in a month, you call in 2 weeks. If she says call me in 6 months, I would really call her in 3 months. Okay? Here it says call her back in August. I mean, we're almost in August anyway. But you don't want to rush people like that. Keep in mind, if somebody's ever gone through probate, a difficult situation, and they're not ready to sell yet, that does not mean if you both agree on a price, you can't get at least a verbal commitment and a signed agreement. Okay? Because keep in mind, when you have a signed contract with somebody, they may think, oh, I got to sell the house now. As a matter of fact, it's not. As long as you and I agree to a price, we can put it on paper and we can schedule the closing to whenever you'd like. You know, we have people right now that we're under contract with. They're kind of going through similar situations, and we just keep extending it if needed. All right. What we try to do, depending on their situation, like right now we have a deal in Washington, and the lady has bad health. She's a hoarder. The husband, you know, he's trying to get everything together, and she's in and out of the hospital, right? And anytime we're scheduled to close, if they need more time, we'll give them more time. If they need help moving, we'll help them with that stuff. So make sure, regardless of what the seller's going through, if you can help them out, great, help them out, but at least get it under contract. Too many people are scared to get properties like this under contract because they might feel like they're overstepping, the line. And it just really comes with how motivated the seller is. With this lady, she has no say in how much and when. It's her parents. She's going through stuff, so you got to give her some space, all right? So, Ray, I would follow up with this lady. I mean, here she says 170. Call back in August. Hey, drop any questions in the chat. I'm going to start answering some questions in between the properties. But, Ray, check this out. Call this lady back in August just to check in with her, all right? Even though she spoke with me, you spoke with her originally. So, let me mark this as called. All right. Let's take some questions. If you have any questions, welcome to Clubhouse. I'm also in Clubhouse. If you guys are in Clubhouse, you can ask me Q&A. Click the link in my profile. You can watch me live on YouTube. All right, so let's take some questions. Hey, Steven, I'm having an issue with my dialer. It sounds like it's going too fast and not connecting the call. Support haven't been able to help me out. Any idea about what the issue could be? I'm not sure what dialer you're using. I use Call Tools. If you feel like the dialer's going too fast, you might want to check how many lines you're calling at once. Because most power dialers, they have the capability to call 10 people at once. But you don't want it set to 10 people at once because your abandon ratio is going to skyrocket, right? Your connectivity rate, it's going to call too many people at once and you're going to miss out too much. So I would decrease it to a triple line dialer. Okay. So, you called support, they weren't able to help you out. I don't know who you're using, but I would definitely check how many lines you're calling at once. If you're calling too many people at once, it's probably because you're calling too many people. All right. Like the settings, basically. Reduce it to triple line dialer. That should fix the problem. Okay. Hi, Steve. In regards to the power of attorney, what if the owner of the property is deceased and one of the siblings has the power of attorney? Is it okay to talk to them and let them sign the contract if the owner of the property is deceased? Yeah. In the contract, you're going to put the estate of, and then whoever has the power of attorney is the one that needs to sign. Okay. Because, and it varies, the laws varies and by mark and by situation, but most of the time, that's how it is. You have to speak with whoever has either power of attorney, and if they're deceased, the executive of the estate, okay? But they are the decision makers. Now, keep in mind, just because they are the decision makers doesn't mean that there's never a second, person of influence, right? So if they're siblings and one has one is the executive of the estate and they all are talking about what they're going to do, sometimes you want to bring them into that conversation because those other people are going to be a little bit more influential. All right. Sometimes the person that has the power to sign the contract is not always the person that's going to be the most negotiable, influential. You want to make sure that if there's siblings involved, try to get them all on a group call, or better yet, try to meet them all in person. I've had big deals where, I actually signed a contract with a seller, and during the inspection, they passed away, unfortunately. And, the daughter took over, and I needed to go in person to kind of sort it out, like what they want to happen. They wanted to make sure that they were in good hands. A lot of people they may have never sold a house before. They're unfamiliar with the process. And even though they're willing to sell at a discount in order to speed up the process, they have to make sure they trust you. So never be afraid to go in person, but always talk to as many people as you can involved, okay? All right. How do you close on a retail deal and the seller doesn't want to list? I'm trying to understand that. So if the person wants retail, how do you close them? Is that what you mean? If somebody who doesn't want to list the property, if they want top dollar, a quick sale, no close, like it's very rare that they're going to get, the icing on the cake and the cherry and the whipped cream and that. Like, it's got to be price or terms. Like, that's what it really comes down to. It's got to be price or terms, okay? So if they don't want to list it, I start talking about the good and the bad. So let's say an example. Let's say the ARV of a property is $300,000. The seller wants $305,000. Hey, unfortunately, Mr. Seller, like I told you in the beginning of the call, I may not be a good fit. I am a real estate investment company, so a cash offer may not even make sense if that's a price you're really stuck at. However, I think you're asking great price range on the open market. Is listing something? No, I don't want to list. Oh, okay. So you don't want to list. So you're not open to cash offer. You don't want to list. So what do you plan on doing if the house doesn't sell? I start asking questions about what happens if it doesn't sell. Because somebody may want a price and they're going to realize they're not going to get that price, especially if they just want a cash, right? They want that price retail, but they don't want to list. With those leads, I usually follow up with them. So I put them once over 20%, okay? Close loss once over 20%. We put them on a drip campaign, or we follow up in a few days to months, okay? So once they start realizing, man, nobody's giving me the price I want a little bit more in full market value, the property is in as-is condition, they're going to realize, shoot, I'm not getting the price I want. Maybe that guy was right. So when you follow up with those leads, the situation is going to change, okay? Because a lot of people, their house is in as-is condition, and they want full retail or above full retail. They want more or the same price that fully renovated properties are selling for. And you just have to be upfront. Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking in the area, and there's nothing selling at that price that's not fully renovated. You want to start giving facts. Start giving high ARVs. Another great strategy, by the way, to attract people to a listing. If you know for sure that they're not good for a cash offer, you can say, hey, if your property is in good shape, I see similar properties here selling for $295, $300. Start giving high comps. Okay, that way they'll be a lot more open to speaking with an agent on your team. But you can't give everybody everything. You always want to be, it seems like we're not going to be a good fit. If you don't want to list, I don't want to waste your time. Keep my number. If anything changes, give me a call back. That's what I do, and that's, works. It's a good question. Are you able to get a home under contract although it has to go through probate? Yes, you can. What you can't do is you can't close on it until probate's completed, but you can get it under contract if it's pre-probate, basically. A lot of people, and I'm telling you, a lot of people, when they're talking to sellers, probate leads, hey, it's going through probate, call me back later. Hey, no problem. The great news is if you and I agree to a price, we can put an agreement together, and you just let us know when you'd like to close. We can even help you out with probate. How's that sound? So don't ever be afraid to get a property under contract if it's going through probate. Obviously, you can't close on it until probate's completed, but as long as you get it under contract, guess what? You have first dibs on that property. You have the equitable interest. You have the right to purchase that property. And most of the times, those deals are, a reasonable size. You're getting enough projected profit where you can actually assist them with that process, okay? So, yes, great question. All right, let's call some more. Let's call some more. Keep the questions coming in, okay? And I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. So this one is in Lauderdale Lakes. I've actually never heard of this area. Lauderdale Lakes. So this person's asking $210,000. Let me pull up the property so you can see what I'm seeing. If you're on Clubhouse, you guys can click the link in my bio. Check me out on YouTube. You can see what I'm looking at. And you can also ask me questions live, okay? All right, cool. So this person's asking $210,000. And, you know, right off the bat, sometimes when you look at Zestimates, and, you know, don't let it spook you. Just because somebody wants the Zestimate price. Oops, hold on a second. How do I got to click Street View. This has photos on it. I'm going to click the Street View. There's a few photos on here. I always like looking at the photos because it really tells you the kind of condition the property is in. If they're recent, you know, and I always bring that up here. I see some pictures online. Are these recent? All right, so let me pull this up so you guys can see. This is what we're dealing with here. It's a regular cookie cutter property. All right, anyways, they want 210. What repairs are needed? Bathroom, kitchen can be updated. 3-2 plus a den. Can have a 4th bedroom. Rental spacious. Spacious. What's it say? Spacious enclosed front porch. Are there any other? Ghosted me after I set an appointment. Hot lead at the time she called. Man, don't you hate when people go ghost on you? I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to avoid the ghostliness. I hate when people go ghost. It's one of my pet peeves, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do after I make this call, how you can avoid people from going ghost on you. Because, I mean, there's nothing worse. You got a hot, sexy lead right there, right off the bat. Its projected profit is high, and all of a sudden, they will not pick up the phone. So I'm going to tell you how you can overcome that, and I'll tell you some good tips and tricks that work to get that person back on the phone. Let's call this person first, and I'll get into it. If you have any questions, drop them in there, okay? Let's see here. So this one's in Lauderdale Lakes. Lauderdale Lakes. Never been there, never actually heard of it. Florida's hot right now. All right, so let's put them on speaker here. Hopefully they pick up the phone. This is just by looking at the numbers on average, I'm running comps. Numbers look pretty healthy so far. Their name. Okay, it's interesting. First name. They want 210. Oh, somebody put duplicate leads in here. Let's call them one more time. Guys, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I plan on dropping a video today on how I'm able to make an offer in 7 minutes or less. What does that look like? What do you use to do it? I mean, how am I able to do that? It's actually a lot easier than you think. And let me tell you something, if you master the art of giving somebody an offer while they're on the phone, you automatically have an advantage of somebody going out to the property, calling them back. You want to give an offer range right off the bat. You're able to realize what you're able to offer the person on the first initial phone call. Okay? And I'll tell you how I do that in the video. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this little ghost situation you have going on here, because they're not even answering to my phone call. It's a different phone number. Miss Lewis.
No, this is not Miss Lewis.
It's not Miss Lewis? You're not the owner of 33rd Avenue?
No, no.
Huh.
Talk to me about 1400.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
I get that.
What the heck? Hold on a second. Well, I guess this is actually, I called, let me make sure I dialed the right one. That lady obviously was not the correct one, unless these numbers are, here we go. All right, let's call this person back. This phone number is the exact same phone number as the one earlier. Do they have more than one property? I don't think so.
Your call has been
Yeah.
forwarded to.
So this person's not picking up. Yeah, I called a different number. Anyways, this person's ghosting. What do you do if somebody's ghosting? What do you do if somebody goes ghost? How do you avoid people from going ghost? Because one of my pet peeves is people ghosting on me. Okay? Spill a little water on my shirt. It's okay. So what do you do if somebody goes ghost? A lot of people do a lot of different things, but I'll tell you what works for me. And it's been working for a long time. Okay? And if you haven't seen the Steve Trang interview with me, make sure you check that out, because I talk in that interview how I was able to get 17 contracts in 5 days. And let me tell you, it was not a hello deal. Hello deal. What it was an avalanche of follow-up leads that all fell in the same time frame, because the follow-up process is sharp. All right, so to avoid people from going ghost, the very first thing you guys have to do is get a time commitment. What is a time commitment? What are you talking about? So let's say you talk to Bob. You guys have a great conversation. He says he's in the middle of something and to call him back. Whatever he's going through, if you're not, remember, you're not going to get a deal on the first initial phone call of every single lead. What you have to get in the habit of is getting a time commitment of when to call that person back. So let me explain what that means. Getting a time commitment sounds something like this. All right, great, Bob, no problem. You want me to speak with you tomorrow? What's a good time I can check back in with you tomorrow? Call me at 9. If he doesn't give you a time, say, oh, I don't know, Stephen, just call me. Okay, do you prefer the mornings, afternoons, evenings? Call me in the evening. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Now, something so small like that, it really goes a long way, because a lot of people, what they do is the seller says, hey, call me tomorrow. And then the investor will say, okay, no problem, I'll call you tomorrow. Guess what? When you call them the next day, you don't know what their schedule's like. They never told you when to call them. You can call them in the morning, the afternoon, or evening, but guess what? If they didn't tell you when to call, your chances of connecting with that person is a lot lower than if I were to get a time commitment, right? So somebody says, call me at 9 a.m. and I call them at 9 a.m. They told me when to call them. You always, after each phone call, you have to say, what's a better time I could check back in with you tomorrow? That's it. Now, you will get people that say, call me tomorrow morning at 9. And you call them at 9. They don't answer. What do you do? So this is what I do. And maybe you guys should write this down and make a mental note, because this is extremely crucial to your business. Trust me. So somebody says, call me at 9 a.m. You call them at 9. They don't pick up. What you need to do is you're going to leave a voicemail and you're going to text them. Okay? So that's at 9 a.m. Now, between 12 and 1, you're going to call them and text them. No voicemail. Then between 5 and 6, you're going to call them and text them. No voicemail. You want to make a voicemail drop on each initial first phone call of the attempt. So at the end of the day, Bob is going to see 3 missed calls, 1 voicemail, and 3 text messages from me. Bob knows I'm calling, but guess what? If you know me, I know that you know that I always say I'd rather lose a deal calling too much than too little. And I don't feel bad about blowing Bob up, because Bob told me when to call him. I'm not harassing Bob. I'm not calling him out the blue. I just called Bob when he told me to, right? Now, I do that for about 2 to 3 consecutive days. Bob knows I'm calling. Some people, they may see your phone number so much, they may just, this guy. They ignore it, right? So try that for 2 to 3 consecutive days. If they still don't pick up the phone, use a Google Voice, use an office line, use apps, use different phone numbers, use your power dialer if it has soft phone capability, whatever. If their phone is still active and connected, they're going to pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? But if you try to blow them up, and don't feel bad about it, because they told you when to call them. It's not like you're calling them out of the blue. They gave you permission. Okay, so don't ever feel uncomfortable making that call, because a lot of people struggle with that, but you got to overcome that. Okay, so you're blowing Bob up, 3 to 4 days straight, didn't pick up the phone, call from a different line. At some point, this person will pick up the phone. As long as you're calling from different numbers within the same area code, I highly suggest. So if you have a power dialer, soft phone, whatever, make sure that it's the same area code, because that's going to be very important. They may just ignore your calls otherwise. If they still don't pick up your phone, what I like to do is I like to send real estate agents out there and leave a sticky note on their door. I go as far as sending the person a pizza. I don't know how many people that'll do that. Send them an Amazon gift card, send them a pizza, send them flowers saying miss you. Like these are like, they may sound weird, but these are outside the box things that I do that a lot of people just don't do. Now, if they still don't answer, that's because there's probably something going on in the background. I've had people have blown up, tried these things, they still haven't responded. Maybe in 7 months, maybe that a death in the family or something's going on. Okay. If they still don't answer, you have to skip trace relative. Okay. And not all the time you're going to go that far. Typically, you do the whole 3-4 consecutive day thing, voicemail, text, exactly what I just went through. And then you do the age or the different phone numbers, which usually works. If that doesn't work, you have an agent or a runner put a sticky note on their door. If that doesn't work, send them a pizza, send them flowers, send an Amazon gift card. You're going to get their attention. Trust me. Okay. If that doesn't work, typically there's something personal going on that we may not know about. Okay. So try those things out. And basically, if you know, I know I talk pretty fast, but if you get anything out of what I just said, get a time commitment out of the seller. Boom. All right. Few more questions. Let's see. Oh, that covered my face. I can't show that one in a second. How do you know if you should cancel a contract? I got a residential vacant land deal under contract, but there's no recent new builds in the area. So I'm at loss of what a cash buyer would want to buy. This is a great point. When it comes to residential vacant land, and if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, there's actually a video I did on how to analyze, make offers on land. And I'll be dropping a video soon about just in general single family houses. But anyway, to answer your question, when it comes to land, I like putting a longer inspection period. Okay. So typically on, you know, a general contract single family home, I put a 10 to 14 business day inspection. When it comes to land, I put 21 business day inspection, because depending what kind of, you know, land it is, whether it's commercial, you know, development, whatever, I do the same thing. There's a lot more that goes into that for the end buyer, but I always put a 21 business day inspection. Now, anytime you get a property under contract, when it comes to land, you have to look at new construction. If there's no new construction, you have to look at just lot sales in the area. And I go through all this in my video, so make sure you guys replay that video. I look at land in the area, if there's any investors buying. If there's no new construction, there's no lot sales, you have to be almost overly conservative when you're locking up the price. Because that means if there's no demand for lots in that area, it's going to be really hard to sell. So number one, make sure you're marketing the right pockets, the right zip codes to make sure you have the most you know, interest as possible. If you can't sell the deal, I mean, I would stretch it out until the last day of the inspection. That's just me. But I think that's really a marketing issue. Make sure you're marketing in areas where there's activity. Sometimes you'll get referrals from sellers of properties that are in the boondocks. But if you ever get a lot in an area that there's no activity, I usually like to look at the Zestimate. I take 50% of that, and that's my max offer. Or whatever's lower, I look at the tax assessed value. Depending on what market you're in, the tax assessed value is always going to be freaking low. Okay, so I look at that, and that's actually my starting point, because I want to make sure I'm overly conservative in locking up this the deal at a really low price, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to sell. And typically what I do with those, I refer those to agents, because if there's no new builds or, you know, flips in the area, there's no cash investors buying, most of the time it's just going to be an individual that purchases the lot, whether it's to build, whether it's to put storage, whatever. Okay, but typically those I refer to agents. So just make sure you have number one, make sure you're marking the right zip codes. Number two, make sure you have a long inspection period. Okay, number three, when you're coming up with a price to lock it up at, okay, when it comes to negotiating, find out what works best for you. Is it 50% of the Zestimate, or is it 50% of the tax assessed value? Some markets, the tax assessed value is right there. Florida, where I'm at, it's like freaking low. So whatever works best for you. All right, hopefully that answers your question. All right. Steven, I love the money tree. Thank you. Yeah, this is a little money tree. I got the little beta here. Thank you. How do you work with agents in your business? This is such a good question, because A lot of people, a lot of wholesalers hate agents, and a lot of agents hate wholesalers. Why? Maybe because agents have, the agents that don't have an abundance mindset are typically the ones that don't want to work with wholesalers, and vice versa. But let me tell you something. There are investor-friendly agents out there that would love to work with you. Love to work with you. Okay. What does that look like? What can an agent bring to the table? What can I bring to the table for an agent? Okay. This is what I do. This is how I work with agents. And I kind of talked about this in, actually, I did an Instagram live a couple of days ago, which I'm also going to upload on YouTube. And I actually play an audio when I pitched an agent. I know we're a little tight on time here, so I'm not going to play it here. But basically, when it comes to agents, they are our boots on the ground, because I do business also on the West Coast as well. And even in my backyard. So if I'm doing deals in Tampa, Orlando, Atlanta, Washington, my process is always the same. Number one is, how do you find investor-friendly agents? How do you look for those? What I do, let's say I'm entering the Atlanta market. I'll go to an Atlanta investor Facebook group. I'll type in looking for an investor-friendly agent to partner up with on my wholesale deals. Keep in mind, there's a big difference between realtors and real estate agents, which I'm not gonna go super in depth about it. But realtor, they're an organization. A real estate agent is typically, regular real estate agent. So just put agent out there. If you want to put realtor, that's fine. Just make sure that you're let it known looking for an agent to partner up with on our wholesale deals. You're gonna get flooded with comments, okay? Because they're gonna be interested in what you can bring to the table, okay? And how they can make money with you. So once you get your comment thread flooded, message the ones that seem the sharpest. And you can easily tell how sharp an agent is. If I go to an agent's Facebook page and they're really sharp on promotions, they're just very active, right? They're very active, and I know they do a lot of volume and all that stuff. Rather than an agent that, they don't really treat it like a business. I want to work with people that treat their business like a business, not a hobby. Because remember, if you're working with these people, why would you want to work with somebody that's kind of, taking this as a hobby, right? Because you're not, right? I hope not. So anyways, you message them, ask them for their best contact information. All right. Hey, I'd love to get in a call with you. What's your best, contact email? Get the email too, and phone number. When you call them, say, hey, Bob, thanks for commenting on my Facebook post. Listen, I'm looking for an agent to work with, and this is what it looks like for us. All right. We get a lot of people, we do a lot of marketing, right? So we get a lot of leads of people that want full retail value. We don't just want to throw those away. What we're willing to do is give you all those retail leads, and we can come up with a referral split that works for both of us. On top of that, sometimes we have sellers that will not sign over the phone. They need to be negotiated. We'll set an appointment for you and that seller, and we'll give you 10% of that assignment fee. On top of that, Bob, sometimes we get sellers that aren't very tech savvy. They may not even have internet, but they've agreed to the price and terms over the phone. If we get people like that, we'll give you 3% just to get a signature. But wait, Bob, there's more, right? When we have showings for buyers, we need somebody to babysit these buyers, because sometimes there's some snakes in the grass, right? Even if we have a legal contract, this does happen, by the way. We need somebody to watch the showings and manage the showings within a 2-hour time frame. We pay between $100 to $200 for that. But Bob, wait, there's more. Notice I'm just throwing freaking value at them, right? When you're an appointment or we need photos, we'll give you $75 to $100 for photos. So I'm giving Bob full retail listings, a cut of the assignment fee, a percentage of a signature, a few $100 for showing, and a few $100 for pictures. And then at the very end, I say, hey, Bob, does this sound like something you might be interested in? Why would Bob say no? I don't know about you, but I don't know any agents. Like, if an agent doesn't like money, because they work on straight commission especially, they're not the right fit. So at the end of the conversation, I say, hey, Bob, does this sound like something you're interested in? They're going to say yes. I actually have 2 recordings on my course. You can go to the masterclosurecourse.com, or you can shoot me a DM, okay, for a promo code, okay? Hopefully answers your question, by the way. Good question. A lot of people have that. They get those questions. But go to masterclosurecourse.com, DM me on Instagram for a promo code. The course is $500. You DM me for the promo code, it's $97. I'll always promote my course. I won't shove it down your throat. I don't live off of courses. I live off of businesses, but I know this course is going to help a lot of people out. Anyways, I got recordings in there of pitching agents I've never spoken with, and they are excited and thrilled to work with me. So it works. I've been doing it for a while, but that's what I do. I'll take a couple more questions, then we'll wrap up. And then I'm also going to work on making that video for you guys about how to run comps, how I'm able to make offers in 7 minutes or less. Okay. Are you still planning on doing a live acquisitions training? Yes. Yes, I am. Stay tuned for that. Let's see. How do you work with agents? So I kind of explained that. How do you work with the agents instead of direct homeowners? Well, maybe I think you're asking like if the agent's representing the seller, it's the exact same process. You just have to make sure that you go straight through the agent because they got that agent for a reason. On top of that, some agents want to use their contracts, which I'm not opposed to as long as it's assignable, has an inspection period. Okay. Do you recommend me getting my license just so I can have additional stream of income and list my own properties if I flip them? Depends what your goals are. It doesn't hurt if you want to get licensed, right? If you want to list your own properties after you flip them, yeah, why not? If you just want to wholesale properties, I don't think it's necessary. I'm not licensed, and I just really wholesale. I flip a few here and there. I find it more lucrative to assign properties. That's just me. But if that's what your goals are, yes, I would encourage you to get that because that's going to benefit you the most in your business. The gems and flames. Love it. Awesome. All right, cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode of the Deal Desk. Great Q&A. I'm going to start doing a lot more Q&A. If you ever have any properties you want to submit for me to call live, I know the people on Clubhouse, you can't see this on my YouTube channel, but go to the reitoolbox.com. There's a whole list of all the resources I use in my business. There will be a button of submit leads to Deal Desk, and then you just tune in on Friday at 12 p.m. EST. Watch me call them live, okay? If you're not following Real Estate Talk Club or Diana, please make sure you click the little green house. Make sure you also follow Diana, okay? And I will see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Implement everything you're hearing. Don't just let it go in one ear, out the other. Please implement. Please take action. And, follow me on Instagram as well. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.